So this happened recently. YouTubers MXR and Potastic Panda have found themselves on the receiving end of a certain company called Junkin Media. It's Jukin Media. Accusing them of infringing their copyright on 4 videos. And if they want to avoid an awkward situation, to pay $6,000. Now, as anyone who has had a YouTube channel for more than 5 minutes will testify, this is a nightmare scenario. Since 4 videos are under threat, that's potentially 4 copyright strikes at once. 3 strikes at once, and your channel is consigned to oblivion. Hence the panic from the YouTubers in question. I first noticed this story on the BBC website of all places, actually on the homepage. You know you're fucked up when mainstream media gets wind of your shit. Gotta love the way the BBC says their channel could now be removed due to the nuances of YouTube's copyright system. What they meant to say was the channel will be deleted due to the corporate shagging content creator fucking copyright system. Actually, a copyright claim doesn't necessarily lead to a strike and therefore channel deletion. But YouTube's copyright system is so hostile to posters and friendly to claimants, it's safer to assume the worst in all cases. That way you can't be shocked and dismayed by your situation, it's just your ground state of being. Bear in mind that Junkin Media haven't formally notified Google at this point of the alleged copyright infringement, meaning the order to pay $6,000 looks more than just a little bit dodgy. And if you go on Twitter to look at the responses they're getting, holy crap, the slew of negativity is endless. I'll give you a sample of some of the words used. Extortion, racketeering, mafia, shady, blackmail, parasites, bullying, predators, you get the fucking point. And the one word that keeps getting repeated? Fair use. Okay, that's 2 words, but you get my point. I actually tried to find one sodding positive point on Twitter about this. Just one. Couldn't find one. And I went pretty far down the list. It appears as though Junkin Media makes its money by buying videos from content creators with the possibility of them going viral, making enormous returns on their investment. Junkin Media purchased the rights to the video clips that MXR and Potastic Panda happen to have made reaction videos to, which is how we ended up here. It doesn't help that the YouTubers themselves say in a video that they have previously paid Junkin Media once before, to the tune of $1,500. This isn't the first YouTuber Junkin Media have done this to either, they seem to be veterans of this horse shit. If you want to know much more about Junkin Media, I recommend you check out some of these links on the Reddit thread. It's easier than listening to me drone on and on about them. But you know what this really reminds me of? Crash for cash. Generally speaking, when a car runs into the back of another one, the car behind is at fault, makes sense. In Crash for Cash, the criminal gang will drive in front of you, slow down to reduce the gap between you, and then suddenly slam on the brakes, causing you to slam into the back of them. Then comes the demand for cash at the roadside, in exchange for not pursuing through the insurance company. They may even have disconnected the brake lights, to make it harder for you to tell when they're actually slowing down. I look at this situation with MXR and Junkin Media and I wonder, did they buy that particular video content knowing MXR had done a reaction to it and that they could get money out of them? After all, they paid last time, why not this time? The whole thing stinks for me. Not just because of the obvious attempt at extortion, but the fact they are targeting the same YouTube channel, going after a target they know have caved in before to them. And that's the big thing about extortion, of course. You don't just pay once, do you? the blackmailer always comes back for more, knowing full well your situation hasn't changed and you're still vulnerable. Of course, if YouTube's copyright system wasn't so well designed in favour of corporate, this might not be so easy a con to pull off. But then YouTube is owned by Google and Google is corporate, so big shock which way it leans. Copyright lawyer and YouTuber, incidentally, Leonard has said the case might be 50-50. Bear in mind this guy's an actual lawyer. He says that ultimately it comes down to the 4 test points for fair use, and the whole thing is too much of a legal grey area really to say what a judge or jury would decide for sure. I'm not going to argue with the actual legal expert, but he did add this whole thing was morally outrageous. Certainly there's not a single person online who seems to back Jukin Media's position. Junkin Media in the meantime have apparently been hiding negative tweets about them, which means their employees can probably say goodbye to their weekend because there's loads of them. The company seems to have gone into some sort of lockdown as well as they, metaphorically speaking, cower in the basement from the shelling of social media they're getting. A company that profits from videos going viral is on the receiving end of damning levels of hate that is itself going viral. The irony is not lost on anybody. I honestly don't know which is worse, a criminal blackmailer or a corporate one. At least the criminal ones occasionally admit liability when they're caught. Corporate never admits liability, because it's never someone's fault. Some decision could have been taken at some hypothetical junction which may have resulted in an incorrect decision that has now been reversed, and thanks to our proactive team, we have put in place policy changes to ensure this will never happen again. That's the corporate national anthem, otherwise known as bullshit. Ultimately, I don't know what MXR is going to decide on this. Apparently a YouTube representative is trying to contact them. We'll just have to see what happens. Obviously we're all rooting for MXR here, but depending on what everyone decides to do next, it might be less risky to just, I don't know, delete the videos. Certainly I would recommend never paying the blackmailer.